Open book test. On paper, it seems like the easiest test ever. Just take your textbooks inside, flip a few pages, and boom, full marks. But that is the biggest myth. In reality, open book tests are much tougher than the regular tests that you often take. In this video, we'll uncover why students think it's easy, what makes it tough, and how you can prepare the right way for exams. The biggest myth with open book tests is this: if I have the book, I don't need to study. Students imagine walking into the hall, flipping a few pages, copying the answers, and walking out with full marks. But that's not how it works. Because the exam paper is not asking you to find answers, it is asking you to think. Here's the reality. In a traditional exam, the paper requires you to recall things like define an electrochemical cell. Easy, you just have to write the definition. But in an open book test, the question shifts completely. Instead of asking for a definition, it could be, in a Daniell cell, if the concentration of Zn2+ ions is doubled, how will the electrode potential change? Use the Nernst equation to explain. See the difference? Here it doesn't matter if you have your NCERT textbook open in front of you. The book won't hand you the answer unless you actually understand the concept first. And that's why for most students, an open book exam feels tougher than regular ones. Even academicians echo the same. First, don't mug up definitions. Make sure that you actually understand the concepts. And how do you really know whether you have understood it? The way to do that is to explain it to yourself, or even better still, teach it to a friend without looking at the book, and then you know that you got it. If you can only repeat the line from the textbook, honestly, you're just memorizing. Second, try connecting ideas. Don't just stop at understanding the reaction or the formula. Ask yourself, where does this turn up in real life? For example, if you learn about electrochemical cells, look at how the same principle is used in the batteries of your phone or an EV. If you study thermodynamics, think about how it applies to engines or even how your fridge works. When you connect a textbook idea to something that you can see around you, then you are not going to forget it and you are actually going to use it in real life. Third, practice problems that help you apply knowledge, not just recall it. In regular exams, you get straightforward questions like define or state. These kind of questions only check if you can repeat information. But open book tests go deeper. They ask you why and how questions that force you to go deeper into the concept. For example, instead of just knowing rate of reaction depends on concentration, try solving a case where the concentration doubles and predict how the rate will change. Or in physics, don't stop at writing Newton's second law. Work out a problem like, if a car's mass doubles, what happens to its acceleration under the same force? The more you tackle these application-based problems, the more prepared you will be for the kind of thinking open book exams demand. And finally, learn to use your book smartly. Know which chapter and page to look at instead of wasting time flipping pages in the exam hall. Yes, open book tests can feel tougher. They push you to think, connect, and apply what you learned and not just memorize. But that's exactly the point. So when you're solving a Daniell cell problem in your open book test, it may feel tough in the moment. But remember, this isn't just exam stuff. The same principle, how electrode potential shifts with concentration, is exactly what makes lithium-ion batteries in EVs and smartphones work in real life. And here's why this matters even more. Open book tests signal the end of the old cycle that every student knows too well. Cram the night before, write everything that you remember, and forget it all the next day. That cycle dies with open book exams. Because now it's not about short-term memory, it's about long-term understanding. It's about learning in a way that stays with you long after the exam is over. That's why open book tests matter. They prepare you to think like real engineers and scientists. So it isn't just another exam, it's training for the real world.